Hi, I'm Liam from Batch Brewing Co in Marrickville in Sydney. We're back with another beer education video today. We're going to be talking about lagers. Lager is the most popular beer style all over the world. If we look at literage, it makes up the most volume than any other beer style. When we think of the biggest breweries and the most popular beers, the majority of them are actually all lagers. While most lagers are mass-produced and go hand in hand with big beer companies, there is a rich history around this style. There are some classic breweries that have been producing lager styles the same way for hundreds of years. Although pale lagers make up the lion's share of beers produced around the world, there is a great diversity of colours and flavours in lager styles. In the last 5 years or so, we've seen a big rise in craft breweries producing lagers, both here in Australia and all over the world. The two largest craft breweries in America by volume being Yuengling and Sam Adams both produce a Vienna or amber style lager as their flagship beer. The name lager comes from the German word to store. The lagering technique is when beer spends a long time at cool temperatures to condition. Lager is also the name of the yeast strain used to produce these beers. There are two main yeast strains used in producing beers, being ale yeast and lager yeast. So what actually makes a beer a lager is both the type of yeast used and that cool conditioning period. Historically, these beers were brewed and then stored at any cool place they could find. This could be the side of a mountain, a cellar, or a cave. Over time, the yeast used adapted to these conditions. It's developed to what we now call the Saccharomyces pastorianus strain. As a result of the long fermentation time and extended conditioning time, these beers are less fruity than ales. It also gives the beer a cleaner, crisper flavour profile. The extended lagering time allows all the hops and other particles in the beer to drop out. This leaves us with that great, crystal clear clarity that lagers are known for. The types of hops that brewers tend to use in classic lager styles tend to have flavours a bit more earthy and spicy, in comparison to more New World or modern hops, which have flavour profiles that are a bit more big tropical fruity, piney and resinous. So now we're here at Bucket Boys, I'm going to go through some of these great lagers. The first one we've got here is the Czech Pilsner. And Pilsner Urquell is the original Czech Pilsner. So Pilsner Urquell was originated from the Czech city of Pilsen, and the city of Pilsen got together and hired a famous brewer from Germany to come over and create this style of beer. The Czech Pilsner was a very popular style and ended up being transported all over Europe. Some of the features that make this quite a unique lager is its use of Czech Saaz hops, and also the really soft water supply in the city of Pilsen, which really adds to this style of beer, and it's sort of a thing that's replicated all over the world now when making these styles. If you're looking to try and find the Czech Pilsner here in Australia, two breweries that we can find quite often are the Pilsner Urquell or Budvar. The next beer we have here is the German Pilsner. This is Germany's reply to the Czech style Pilsner. With the rise of the Czech Pilsner being so popular all over Europe, Germany wanted to make their own to meet that demand in the market. The Germans adapted the Czech style Pilsner and then made some changes, taking into fact things like the different hop varieties and the different water chemistry makeup they have in Germany. German style Pilsners tend to be drier, crisper and have a more pronounced bitterness compared to the Czech style. Not to be outdone by the Czechs and other German brewers, Munich brewery Spaten made their own lager style, the Munich Helles, in 1894. Compared to the other lager styles we've seen before, the Munich Helles has less bitterness and is a bit more of a sweeter malt profile. The next lager we're going to look at today is the Fest beer. The Fest beer is a style of beer that's brewed and served at Oktoberfest. This beer also goes by another name being Oktoberfest Beer. In order to use the name Oktoberfest, the beer must be brewed within the Munich city limits. Throughout the rest of the world, we use the name Fest beer. Oktoberfest is the biggest celebration of beer in the world. It happens within Munich during late September and early October, and all the Munich breweries brew this style of beer and have some great parties. The Fest beer is deep golden colour, slightly elevated alcohol, around 5 to 6%, and has a really nice bready malt-like character. In Australia, around Oktoberfest, we can normally get most of the traditional Munich brewed Oktoberfest beers, but also locally we're seeing more and more breweries brew their own versions of the style, like the small batch version we've got here in front of us. Next up, we have the International Lager. The International Lager style is quite a broad range, and it makes up the majority of imported lagers that we can find here in Australia. An interesting note about the International style lager, it's the use of grains other than barley. These can be things like corn, rice, and it really just depends on the region where the breweries are and what grains they have available to them there. So the Sapporo we have here is a great example of a Japanese style lager. Here in Australia we have access to some great Asian style lagers, and I think they're really well suited for a hot climate. The last style we're going to look at today is the dark lager. So we have another Sapporo here with the Sapporo Black. Many international breweries will brew both a pale and dark lager. The malt notes tend to be lighter than other dark beers, with flavours of cocoa, molasses and light roasted coffee. I find this style a great way to get into dark beers, particularly if you find things like stouts a bit too intense in their malt flavour. So that's beer education for lagers. Thank you for watching. See you next time. I'm going to take the rest of my Sapporo and head off.